Okay, what's up everybody? As promised, I want to explain to you guys a little bit more detail about how to increase your step rate or your cadence. This is the easiest way. If you're a physical therapist working with runners, or even if you don't work with runners, you need to know how to do this. If you're someone that's just getting into running now, it's so good to get started on the right foot, no pun intended. Increasing your step rate is the easiest way to get better at running. Instead of thinking about all these different cues, if you just try to keep up with that noise and retrain yourself, try to keep up with that rhythm, will improve. So they show that a 5% increase in your step rate could be up to a 10% reduction in that impact and that ground reaction forces. So super easy. There's a couple ways to do it. One is you can first figure out what your step rate is. Some of you have watches, it will tell you. Other people, when you're running outside, it's easier to do it on the treadmill because you can keep the speed consistent. But I would count for 20 seconds and multiply it times 3. So 180 steps per minute is the ultimate goal, with that being 60 every 20 seconds. So that being said, I would just either do that and figure it out, and you could do the math and increase it by 5-10%, or just do the easy way. There's a metronome app that I'm going to show you guys called Metro Timer. There's probably some other ones out there for free. This is the one I'm just comfortable with using. And just put it to 170 and just try to keep up with it. If I can get you in the 170 to 180 range, I'm a happy man. We show that 165 and below is where we really start getting into trouble. And so what you'll see with this is that as my step rate increases, I'm not gonna spend as much time bounding in the air. I'm not gonna spend as much time throwing my leg out because I'm trying to keep up with that step rate, which is around 3 hertz or that 180 steps per minute. So what you can do is pull up the app called Metro Timer, set it to 170, and then put your headphones in. If you have access to a treadmill, or when you do, it's really a lot easier to do practicing on a treadmill first, because that's the biggest misconception, is the speed stays the same. It's not just increase your speed, the speed stays 6 miles an hour, and we want to try to keep that step rate as close to 180 as possible without just going faster. So you have your headphones in, no music. It's a time to learn, and how we learn the best is just be able to focus. Put it to 170 and press go. Every time you hear that beat, you're trying to have your foot hit the ground. Some of you, it will come very naturally and it will seem easy to you. Others, you have to work a little bit harder to it. Just like with anything, we don't want to become reliant on it. Minute on, minute off. In that minute off, reflect. If you're new to running, maybe you walk during that time. If you're a little bit more experienced runner, maybe you just take that time to turn it off and try to emulate. Put your mind in your body and see, what did I feel differently? Can I emulate that? And then turn it back on and see if you can keep up with it. Best way to work on learning a new pattern. If you cannot, and some of you, it's not a strength issue, it's not a range of motion issue, it's merely technique. The ability to turn on and off the muscle very fast. So my patients that cannot keep up with this yet, either go a little bit lower and practice it to where you can get it, but also doing some cadence drills outside of running where you're working on that step turnover rate. The best way that I like to do it, still using the app, whatever your goal is that you can't get to, maybe it's 170, hit 170, and then do a running man exercise, which is gonna engage your core, it's gonna mimic running, and it's gonna work on the speed of your leg. So I'll have somebody go like this, high plank position, start here, the front leg does not hit the ground, and this is a good time to work on not crossing midline, but I'm working at going at a rate of 180 per minute. If you do it for a minute, you can do 180, you're gonna be out of breath, but this can get you better at that quick turnover rate. And also notice how quiet the landing is. As soon as I land, it's like hot lava. I'm trying to get my feet off the ground. I'm not just stabbing just like with running. That's not gonna feel good. Quick turnover rate, neutral spine, soft landing, and that's gonna get your cadence up. So go ahead and practice that. And if this doesn't make sense, look at my last post where I explain a little bit more detail about this. So questions?